All right, well, welcome to our second meeting for Children's Right to Both Parents Equally. I am Dennis Wirth, the Child Sports Superhero page on Facebook. I do stand-up comedy. It was a character I created. It took off, and we've been fighting for justice for parents worldwide. And guess a quick history. It's been 8 years since I've seen my son. I'm a victim of parental alienation. I went through the big battle everybody did in court, and I tried to take the high road, and the high road didn't work out for me. I thought our son was going to see I took the high road, but he ended up throwing everywhere the garbage that was put in his head. After being beat down by the court system and being alienated, I decided to fight back, and I started doing comedy with the Child Sports Superhero. The character took on a life of its own, and we've been reaching worldwide ever since. So that's a brief history on my account. I've done a lot of looking into how the system actually works and just how dirty the court system is, but we'll get into that later. I guess briefly I just want to hear the people's what your story is, and later on we'll get your advice on how you guys think we can solve the problem. So anybody want to go first? Michelle, Jimmy?
Okay, you called me first, so I guess I'll go. Let's see.
Right.
So I divorced in 1995, and I have two grown children from my first marriage. And like you, tried to do the right thing and got screwed. So I have two grandchildren that I haven't seen. The thing just goes and goes and goes.
How long has it been since you've seen them?
So my daughter tries to just abuse me by friending me on Facebook. So I see everything that goes on, but just doesn't have anything to do with me.
Well, what brought that on? Why do you think she acts like that?
Because like you said, the court system, the battle, the fight, and then basically they're brainwashed, and you're the evil parent, you divorced the father, and the court system goes right along with it.
Yeah, unfortunately, one parent turns out, to be the person they cling to, and the other one's the alienated parent, and everything seems to be their fault no matter what the truth is. But
exactly.
How long has it been since you've had contact with her?
So I tried, let's see, about 8 years ago, and her husband tricked her into going there, and it wasn't a good. It wasn't a good.
Nobody likes to be tricked. I understand that, but on the other hand, I mean, there's no other. What do you got to lose if they're not having any contact with you? I mean, even if they say they don't want to talk, you really had nothing to lose. So what happened when that meeting happened?
She refused to talk to me. She got mad at him and blah blah blah, and just stormed off. And so that was it. I said, you know what? I tried, did whatever. How can you keep getting beat up?
Right. What was the last words you remember ever hearing from her? I mean, last thing I got was a message from Facebook on my son saying, you should give mom more money. You pay an incredibly small amount of child support compared to most dads. And I'm like, what is she putting in this kid's head? But what are the last words that you heard from your daughter?
That she went this far without me. Why would I need you now?
What was your response to that?
Well, in the heat of the moment, of course, we all got mad at each other, and I was like, well, you know what, you keep on continuing to believe the lies that your father has told you. And that was it.
How old is she now?
She is 33.
33. Yeah, you hope you get to the age some point where they realize there's two sides to every story, but for every person's that's different. I've heard girls come around earlier than boys. Girls, it's like their late 20s, and boys are into their 30s, but you seem to be having trouble into her 30s, huh?
Right. And so my younger child from that is a boy, and he's 30, and I have contact with him, but it has to be on the sly because everybody will be mad at him if he talks to me.
Right. So he's willing to talk to you as long as nobody knows about it?
Yep.
That's not much of a relationship then, is it?
Exactly.
So what do you think was said to him that caused this to dislike you so much?
Well, it all started when, the other men in my life, I've been married 25 years to my second husband. My ex-husband is on his third marriage. Evidently, it's not me.
Okay.
And so, it's, mom does this, your mother does that, blah, blah, blah. It's just the garbage that they're filled with. My second husband also has 3 children from his first marriage who he's alienated from, and they're all boys. And so it's basically like we're axe murderers. We've gone on, we have our own family, and they don't want anything to do with you, I think is what the ex-spouses have filled in their head.
Right. It's a medical condition too. I don't know, Jimmy. What's your story? How are you involved with this?
Hey Dennis, hey Michelle, thank you for sharing. I'm Jimmy Civilay, and I have my wife here on Suni as well.
Hi there.
Hello. So my story is I filed for divorce back in 2014. Before that, we had visitation, like cordially exchanging messages. Now where I would have them a few days, then she would have them a few days. Once I served her with the divorce papers, that's when everything changed. So as soon as I served her with the divorce papers, she went out to go get a ex parte restraining order, which during that time I was not so familiar with the court. I went to that court hearing, thought it was regarding my divorce, but it turned out to be.
Well, it turned out otherwise.
Yeah.
Wow. So it became a battle right off the bat for you, right?
Yes, definitely. And so like I wasn't prepared for it, and then the judge hit me with a 5-year restraining order. This was back in 2015 in January, and then and also.
So have you not been allowed to see your children with the restraining order in place, or how does that work?
Yes, I was. And so I was going to get to that right now. I got supervised visitation.
Okay.
So every Sunday I had supervised visitation with my mom as the monitor and as the supervisor. That went on for about 5 years. Then she tried to renew the restraining order and get a permanent restraining order. Now that one I was prepared for. So we went to court, we battled it out, and then the judge denied her of a permanent restraining order because I was able to find all the lies and all the dates, that were made up.
So how does your child to react to this? I mean, when you're having supervised visitation, how do you see that's affecting your child?
When he first started, he wasn't really, he didn't really know what's going on, like that.
Right.
He was 2. When he starts to get older, and then that's when he would know it more. Yeah. And then, so when I reached out to the mom and see if we could to come to a mutual agreement on something, she was always negative. She was always also like belittling me or demeaning, and then saying that that she would never anytime I filed for a request for order, she would always counter it with additional supervised visitation and what else? I think she said that she's gonna try to up my child support and a lot of stuff.
So it becomes a big battle, and your child gets caught in the middle of the battle between the 2 parents, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So up until last year in October, we had another hearing that was continued from when I filed the request for order. So during that meeting, she requested that the child go see a therapist for his exam, and then a minor counsel get appointed to the child, and then
professional monitoring.
And professional monitoring for that. So in the beginning, I was like, okay, cool. And I was almost about to stop and, just let her win. But the minor counsel approached me and he said, I don't want to see alienating going on. I wanted you to at least have some time. Can you do at least 4 hours of supervised visitation and whatnot with a professional monitor? And then, my wife, she's the FAGO of the family, which is the fun and games officer. We looked at the finances and she allowed me to have at least, reallocate some money where I could at least afford on 4 hours every other Sunday.
Okay, so how old was your child when these visitations started, the supervised visitations?
The supervised visitation started with the unprofessional monitor. Well, I started since he was 2.
Okay. And how long did that go on for? How many years?
5 years.
5 years. Wow.
Well, it just stopped there recently with a professional monitor temporary order because we went to court on
The 20th of July, and then we met with the minor council, and then so everything started turning out great. Like all the truth finally started to come out.
Started to come out,
Right?
right?
Finally started to come out as soon as but the supervised monitors started happening, and then the all the reports came out to to counter everything that she was saying,
shine
Yeah.
up on us.
Yeah. And
So
then
now, are you having unsupervised visitations with him now?
yeah, so I had one unsupervised visitation with him during the supervised visitation part. Now, since we went back to court since the 20th, the judge allowed me to have unsupervised visits until our next hearing, which is going to be next month on the 18th.
And do you find that's working out a lot better? Is your child responding to you better with the unsupervised visitation?
No, he's so far beyond brainwashed.
Yeah.
Right.
On brainwash, he's on. I believe that he's scared, especially when the minor counsel called to talk to him while he was here on visitation.
Yeah.
I was very worried about what his mom's gonna do to him if she found out that he was.
Oh, sure. One parent becomes the main parent, and if they
Mhm.
disobey them, that's a bad thing in their head. They're showing
Exactly.
disloyalty to that parent, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's
okay.
sad because I could see the fear in him, and then I just don't know what to do about it.
And that's heartbreaking to you as a parent when you see your child suffering. You don't want that, and it's kind of a helpless feeling, isn't it?
Correct. Yes, correct.
You don't know what to do. So, Michelle, let's get back to you. I mean, let's start tap on how can we solve the problem? What would you like to see happen in your case? How do you think you could make things better in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think it's definitely way too late for my daughter.
You feel that way a lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's that like he was just saying, Jimmy was just saying, the court and the lawyers and going back and forth. I think the whole system is for one parent to screw the other parent. Basically, that's what it boils down to, because like you said, you file one thing and they come back with something else and then something else. Like, guys, really, let's do the right thing.
It's a never-ending head spinning thing, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And you can't do anything. Like you would say one parent, like you said, is the parent, and whatever he wants or whatever she wants, that's how everyone has to tiptoe around it.
Yeah.
And the only people that are getting hurt are the kids.
The kids, right? So, I mean, like I said, I haven't spoken to my son in 8 years. He won't speak a word to me. I've tried to reach out to him. He blocks me every time. So after 8 years, he's kind of a stranger. If he walked in the door right now, I wouldn't even have the first clue what to say to him. But I mean, I guess you got to start somewhere. So, I mean, on a positive note, if you had to start somewhere, how do you think you could reconnect with your child?
Well, I guess just show up at the front door,
What do you got to lose, right? I mean, the worst they're going to say is get out of here, which they're already saying to you, right?
Exactly,
Actually-
right? Already been down that road. And so,
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
you
don't.
feel it's been so long now that you don't really think the problem's going to be solved, or do you think someday your child will get old enough and say, hey, maybe I should go talk to her and see what's going on? What's her side of the story?
Well, you know what? That's exactly what my son did. And, he understood and he tried to convey that story to her and she didn't want to hear it. So, maybe now that she's got 2 kids of her own, she'll come, like you said, maybe come around one day, like the light bulb will go off.
That's
Or
what they say. Yeah, light bulb moment. That's what it takes. Once one thing starts, then a few more things start to fall. That hey, maybe everything I've been told ain't the truth, right?
right, exactly. But I definitely do feel that the court system plays a major role in the battle.
Oh, sure. They pit you against each other to begin with. I mean, right off the bat, they're making you enemies where you have to battle it out for your own child, where they shouldn't be doing that. But it's a big
Right.
money thing in the court system where I've checked into it. The federal government matches to each state dollar for dollar every penny they bring in for child support. So it's in the state's best interest to keep that figure high because that brings in more money to them. But that's the
Right.
big, money side of it. But
Mhm.
all right, Jimmy. I mean, what would you like to see happen? How do you think we can solve the problem? What do you think would happen? Make things better?
And for us to make things better in regards to on how the court system handles everything, I think if a father does, or if any parent doesn't have enough money to actually fight through it and pay for like the legal fees and the
Right.
therapist and everything, like it's easy to lose that traction.
And it's not cheap. I spent thousands. I
Yeah.
don't know what you spent,
Mhm.
but it's big bucks, all right.
Same here, like I'm in the same boat, but like we've been fighting this for 6.5 years. Why give up now and just lose that traction? So
Right.
I think the best thing for us was I'm glad that the supervised visitation came out, and then the monitors made the report strong. The minor council also saw
Patterns.
patterns of parental alienation, and also the therapist also and suggested the mom actually goes and seek counseling of her own, which she refused. And not only that, during the last court hearing, minor counsel said that he spent an hour and a half with mom, and then mom started saying that the minor counsel sounded threatening, and then and accused them of like I'm putting words in the therapist's mouth in court.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess the next
Yeah.
step for you, you're having visitation. I mean, I imagine he don't stay overnight or nothing like that, right?
Yeah. Yes. And like I do get anxiety for when that day does happen, because like just the fact that I've been through a lot of allegations or whatnot. How can I prevent it? This from happening again? It's like
Right. You don't want to go
She's
down
gonna-
the
she's
same
gonna
boat
keep
again,
doing
right?
it.
she's just gonna keep doing this, and like I just want to be able to know how to and fight against this type of allegation. And if she does bring up new allegations, and would it be possible for her to be responsible for the the legal fees and
Yeah, she can say anything she wants, whether it's true or not. It's up to you to prove it's not true, which costs you money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's all on you. Where they don't stop to think, is this true, or is she just playing a game? Because she's trying to alienate the child. It's more, hey, this is
Yes.
what she said. You have to prove it's not true. Where
Yes.
they're putting one parent up on a pedestal and the other one down here, and now it's on you to battle it out. But so I
Yes,
guess if you got, I mean, you're at the first step. You got unsupervised visitation. Next step would be overnight visits, and then maybe some permanent time, which might be more of a family for your child. So I mean, there is a chance, I
Right.
guess, down the road where he might come around to being more, accepting of being with you without feeling bad about doing it.
Yes. I mean, like, and it's been a battle because I don't know if you heard of Discord. Have you heard of Discord?
No, I haven't heard of this.
Okay, it's a chat platform that like a lot of kids use for the gaming stuff, and streamers use. So so we use Discord. My son made sure I had Discord, and my phone was set to alert. So anytime his mom would leave to go to the store or not home, he could be able to call me. And like when he calls and we talk and we chat on there, it's like night and day between like the court ordered Zoom visits that I have with him. And it's two. It seems like I'm talking to two different kids. It's
Right.
It's sad.
Okay, so Michelle, if you had some advice for Jimmy, what would your advice be for him?
Wow. I really like that Discord thing, because, I had times where, I'm sorry, but I haven't talked about this in years.
I know it's I've had many nights I've sat down and cried too. It's there's nothing
Same
more precious
here,
in life
Michelle.
than your children. So
Same here.
Like I had my daughter call me time and time again. I don't know, maybe she was like 13, and she would be like, come and get me. And the problem at the time was I lived in New Jersey and my ex-husband lived in New York. So if I would have went and got her on a day that wasn't mine, he would have got me for freaking kidnapping. I mean, that's how dirty this was. And so I think that that's very good that you have real contact with him, because in those days all we had was the phone on the wall.
Mhm.
And-
Yes.
And they would I would call there and they would leave the phone on the table and never tell the kids that I was on the phone.
right.
It just crap. So do what you have to do, and don't let them get in your way. Keep fighting.
That's good
Thank you.
advice. A lot of alienated children that do come around to talking to parents, they say, what made you finally come around? And they say, you never gave up. You kept trying, you kept trying. So, Jimmy, if you had some advice for Michelle, what advice would you give her?
You know, I would just give her just stay strong. Look out to social media, and you know, if you and try to reestablish contact that way, because I know so the social media platform is big, and you know, and they're bound to be on either Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or when any one of those other ones.
So you
Right.
said, Michelle, she is your friend on Facebook. She just won't
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to you, right?
Yeah, she lets me see everything. If I messenger her, she doesn't respond. I can email her. She doesn't respond.
How old is she?
33.
Hmm.
33.
That's even harder on you. You see what's going on, but you can't be a part of it. You can't talk about it, right? So it's kind of torture just seeing it, I imagine.
Exactly. And I think that's why she does it. So I try to, like, you know, put it in this little box and keep it there.
All right, but you don't ever give up. That's what you do, is you don't ever give up.
Right.
Okay, so how did you guys go about finding my page, the Child Support Superhero? Michelle, let's start with you. How'd you find it?
I don't know. I think you just popped up on Facebook one day.
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of people share it. Then if your friends find it interesting, it might pop up on
That's what
you.
happened too.
Right.
Know what happened to you too, Jimmy?
Yes, my wife actually shared it with me, and then said, hey, you need to join this meeting. How she got it as someone else shared it as well.
Okay, well, they say awareness is the key. If you're going to solve any problem in life, people have to know that there is a problem. And, you know, from the outside looking in, we've all dealt with it, so we know exactly what's going on. But, you know,
Yes.
I've had more than one time, oh, your dad just pay your child support. It's like, well, you know, it's not as easy as that. You know, if I'm paying my child support, I got no say how she spends the money whatsoever. And, you know,
Exactly.
well, I got to pay her to yak in his ear. Your dad's no good. He should give me more money, more money. I mean, it's bad enough she's doing it, but I got to pay her to do it on top of that. And then when you
Yep.
see your child going without and you're spending all, you know, sending all the money over
Mhm.
there and you got no say, it kind of leaves a little bad taste in your mouth. But what can you do? There's a court order in place. I guess tear down the whole system would be my advice, but I mean, that's not going to happen where they're making so much money. They're definitely not going to tear down the system. So raising awareness is the key. I've done some TV shows on the subject, and I've said, you know, slavery was once a thing in this country. How did we stop it? There was awareness, okay, that all men were created equal. There was a time women couldn't vote in this country. Well, awareness of women's lib, it raised awareness. Hey, women, we're going to vote. We're equal part of this society as men. So what do you think we can do to raise awareness to solve this problem? Well, what are we going to do? I mean, we're starting out with this Zoom meeting and the page I created, but what else do we got to do to spread awareness to take it to the next level? Who wants to, Michelle, let's start with you.
I actually think that there are so many people that are in this situation and don't know what to do.
It's a
So
helpless
yeah, I
feeling.
mean, you know, if you can share more things and like you said, maybe your comedy would like loosen people up, because it's, you know, it's heartbreaking to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I found that, you know, it's like when you start telling people, they don't want to listen to you complain. You know, your friends will listen for a little while. Say, yeah, it's Dennis complaining. But I figured out if I can get them laughing about it, if I can make then now they want to hear what I got to say. So that's how I spread the messages through comedy, because people want to listen to me, where before you're just complaining, you know?
Right, right. And people that have never been in the situation just look at you like you're totally crazy.
Right. Yeah, you don't know the hell your parents have been through unless you've been through the court system. You know, even other parents, they don't see, you know, they judge you and they don't even know. But Jimmy, how do you think we can spread awareness besides what we're doing?
To spread awareness is I would think that you know, we should come up with a system that actually that, you know, like a guide that, hey, you know, and this is free to the parents. Hey, I know every situation is it's not the same, but if you had a legitimate case and whatnot, right off the bat, just ask for therapy, ask for therapy for the child, ask for minor counsel to get appointed for the child in high conflict cases, which is on like yours and ours, everybody here, and ask for supervised visitation, because the truth always comes out, you know, like you know, like when I first started looking into this, I didn't find a definite answer, and everyone was, you know, like, saying that, hey, I lost my house over this. I spent
Right.
$1,000, and we don't have the finance like that to actually go and trial and error to see which lawyer would actually go to court for you and then advocate for you, and then and just wasting a lot of time. I think if I'd known this since the beginning, I would have had custody long time ago.
Well, you brought up a good point, the financial aspect. I mean, when I started out, social media wasn't a thing. When I started out, in the court battle with my son, and I had no idea where to turn to. And nowadays you can Google, hey, Fathers for Justice or what is child support superhero, and you can find, somebody who's going through the same thing you can. Back when I started, I didn't know who to reach out to. And I was just dumping thousands and thousands of dollars into lawyers, just trying to fight it in court, because that's how much I love my son and wanted to be a part of his life. At the same time, every second I didn't have him, I was at work and I had no time for a relationship. I just, I didn't have the money to do pretty much anything I wanted to do that a normal person could do. I mean, she's living in a big, beautiful house and I'm living in a small apartment I can barely afford. But I mean, financially, it sounds like you spent, a good amount of money, Jimmy, doing this. I mean, how has this affected you financially? Like you said, you ain't always got the money to pay, $150, $200 an hour for a lawyer, but how has it affected you financially?
And it's affected us financially, where we're like probably $70,000 in our debts and everything. Like I said, I wish we had the knowledge from the beginning, where maybe
you get educated on it after a while, but it's kind of later.
And thankfully that during this time where we have the internet and other resources that is available now, that and I'm sorry that you guys had to go through that.
That's a good point. Somebody asked me I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I was talking to a lady, she was talking about committing suicide. She's like, my child won't talk to me. How do I get through it? I said, you get through it by knowing you're not alone. But there's other people just like us right here that are out there, and you're not the only one alone in this. But so are you paying child support on top of all the court expenses that you're paying?
Yes.
Or?
I am.
Okay, so
I pay on child support $1,300 a month. I think she's just using it for the lawyer fees just to get anyway.
Okay, so you're paying for like court fees on top of the child support, so it's double affecting you.
Exactly. Then
and for the professional monitor since October, we are paying like for each visit about $240 for 4 hours of visitation.
Yeah.
Wow, $240 just to see your child for 4 hours. But that's every move you make in the court, they want the money. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes. That is true. That is true.
Michelle, what about you? How did it affect you financially?
Oh, yeah, like you said, every time you go to court, there's something else, and lawyers' fees, and we had I don't know, I guess there was a bunch of different states involved, because we got divorced in New Jersey. However, my ex-husband lived in New York. And so then I moved to Florida.
So you're crossing state lines fighting this stuff, right?
Yeah. So I actually had two states coming after me. I had New York had a warrant out for my arrest for not paying child support, but I was paying it to Florida.
Wow.
Yeah. So
did you tell them that, or how did they rear you? I mean, it's tough to even talk to them. I know I've tried to get through these phone lines, and you're just on hold forever if you're lucky enough to even get through to somebody. But did you explain that to them, that you're paying in one state and the other?
So what happened is the laws, the way that they work, because we were divorced in New Jersey. New Jersey had jurisdiction. So when I moved to Florida, Florida was enforcing a New Jersey court order. Then, however, when he lived in New York, he went to a New York court. So he couldn't do that because New York didn't have jurisdiction. So I had to get another attorney in New York to get that order vacated.
And this is all costing you money for these attorneys, right?
Thousands and thousands of dollars, yes.
Okay, so how much do you figure you spent, just, I mean, you never know, but rough estimate, how much do you think you spent in the courts fighting this whole system?
Over $100,000.
Wow, all right. So Jimmy's at 70,000, you're at 100,000, and I'm at God only knows how much. So that gives you a little, you could buy a house basically for what you spent on legal fees, right?
Yes.
Wow, this is incredible. Well, like I said, I'll tell you, I had one time where I was sending my money to the state accidentally sent it to the wrong parent. And this parent, instead of saying they were getting an extra check, she was cashing it. In the meantime, they're charging me penalties because my ex wasn't getting the money on their mistake. So
Oh, no.
that
Oh
was
my
just
God.
really crazy.
How did you get that all sorted out?
After about 20 years, it was to the point I didn't even care anymore. I mean, they intercepted my tax return at the end of the year, and I might have paid twice. I don't even know how it is. You get to the point, you're beating a dead horse. I didn't even care. Take my money. All I wanted was time with my son. I didn't care about the money anymore.
Same here. Same here.
I mean, I don't know a penny right now, but God only knows how much they've intercepted or took. It was go to work and just send her the money. All right, we only get 40 minutes in this meeting, and we got about I don't know, 8 minutes left. So I guess I'll give you a free form. We'll start. We'll go with Jimmy. If there's something you want other people to know about being an alienated parent and paying child support, what would it be? What would you offer inspiration to other people watching this?
The only inspiration that that I give, just don't give up. Is just think about just the kids first.
Yeah.
Kids first, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, what about
Yeah, I
you?
mean, just don't give up, right? That's all it is.
Yeah, just don't give up. I know it's gonna get hard. It's gonna get rough. Every situation's on like different, and whatever you read on the internet, just don't let that get you down. Because I spent countless nights reading other people's testimony, and then I cried myself. Because
I've heard a lot of sad stories. I know. All right.
yeah,
Michelle, what would you offer to other people?
Yeah, I would have to definitely say the same thing, is that, the kids would have to come first. Try to work something out before you guys went to court, maybe get something in writing, a parent to parent agreement. And then at least you have something in writing that you can go to court with and say, well, he already agreed to this.
Okay.
To maybe.
I had a verbal agreement with my ex. It didn't do me much good in court. She just changed it whenever she wanted. And
Exactly. That's why.
why.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying if you could do something in writing, at least in writing, you have some type of bearing that this person already agreed to this, and we want to raise our children together, whether it's shared parenting, which is a thing down here in Florida. And so the one parent doesn't have, the burden of total, child support, that they split everything 50-50. So that might be, a way to go to keep it shared and not alienate. But, once you get that one parent that wants control, then, you're screwed.
Becomes a big battle after that, right?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, I guess we've learned from this meeting is don't give up. It's your children. You love them, whether they want to love you or not. They can't stop you from loving them. Hopefully someday they see, you want to be a part of life, and you fight hard enough, and maybe you get there someday. So in the meantime, we have social media, and we can find, pages like the Child Support Superhero, and we're all here for each other, right?
Yes.
Correct. There's one more thing that I want to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and so have you heard of the Talking Parents app?
No, I have not. No.
Okay, there's a communication application out there that you could download on a mobile device or on access from the computer, where it logs every chat history between yourself and the other parent, and it'll give a timestamp of when the message was sent, when it was seen, and stuff like that.
So it keeps a record of everything for you. You don't have to.
Yeah,
do it
yes,
yourself.
it keeps a record of everything for you, which you could just submit to the court, and they accepted it like that.
Well, that's crazy. We gotta create apps to do stuff like that nowadays. To submit that to court is crazy to think about. That's what it's become, but that's the battle we have, right?
Yes, correct.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning into this meeting. Awareness is the key, and we're spreading awareness. I wish you both luck with your situations in the future. Okay, keep spreading awareness. Let's keep the fight going. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dennis. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.